I don't know. I don't think we really have such thing as a slow weekend.
Yeah.
The the party was very interesting, eh?
Very interesting indeed. I honestly didn't expect what happened or see what I saw.
Feels like at first I thought we had some fans of the old Faceless maybe, and then Mr. Charlie revealed himself.
It was shocking to say the least. The person I was with, they pointed out a lot of people were dressed alike. I didn't quite notice at first, and when I looked around, I saw, well, the standard mask the blue man would wear, put on several individuals, I'd imagine. At that point, the pieces started falling together, and I imagine it was a taunt to somebody there.
Well, I feel like I got a little bit of that taunt as we were outside talking to Junior, because Junior called me in the middle of it, and he was very, I want to say, freaked out. He said to me, "Are you seeing this Faceless shit?" And then he just asked me to be careful. He said he was going to try and leave. He didn't feel comfortable. And then I was speaking to him outside. We were just talking away, not really about what was going on inside. And then all of a sudden, I felt something on my right shoulder. I turned around and there was Mr. Charlie stood at my face, and he just kind of nodded at me and walked away. I feel like it was him taunting me a little bit.
Undoubtedly.
It just felt like a show of strength, I want to say.
Exactly that. I'm wondering if it was towards an individual that was invited, or perhaps even the police.
Yeah.
There were several officers there.
Yeah. Maybe just the whole city.
It's quite possible. The location was one I was unaware of. I had no clue there was a domicile there. And then it's quite well decorated, in fact.
Yeah, we were mesmerised by the painting of the lighthouse. If you saw it on the
Yes.
staircase.
Just above.
Yeah, that really grabbed our attention, didn't it, Nora?
Yeah. It was definitely impactful.
We only made a comment last week how it feels like them and other terrorist organisations seem to be growing bolder by the day. It was definitely the most bold act I've seen so far.
Without a doubt, I was quite unexpected, in all honesty. I thought it was simply a party held by Mr. Angel. It's an event for the city.
Well, to say that Mr. Angel is now a person of interest would be an understatement.
Believe it or not, I've had my suspicions of him for some time. It was when Miss Delano and I would speak about the different individuals that could be connected, that rather than the ones we already knew.
Take care, Lex.
Others. And it was a time where Diego de Leon was still part of New Epsilon. And in our brainstorming, we thought, well, what individuals have received a sudden windfall, a massive windfall in property, a gift out of the blue? One of them we already know. Another we were unsure of was Nino Chavez and the Court Center. And for some time, Mr. Angel had owner of the Liquid Library in his Limitless profile. Now, sometime around the time the first couple of months that the city opened, the government was very, very strict that any ownership in the past of these buildings was lost in whatever accidents happened and caused the records to be damaged. Now, they were very adamant that there are no owners. The Liquid Library is purely owned by the state. But all of a sudden, a few months back, we had Mr. Angel claiming to be the owner. That alongside the Epsilon Center and the Court Center were some of the three seemingly out of the blue large properties given to individuals. Though I came to learn that perhaps he was the owner of the business of the Liquid Library. That was what we settled on, that perhaps he was under suspicion for no reason. And then later learned that the government had actually facilitated Nino Chavez in the Court Center, but this does put him right back at the start. It shows my suspicion was correct, but for a different reason entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess we can add Mr. Sneaky to that list as well.
Ah, the clown.
Yeah, we visibly watched him leave, didn't we, Nora? Because we left the party, then we heard an explosion, so we hung around the area. It's why I was a bit confused as to why you thought a stabbing had took place, because we saw somebody at the foot of a car which had driven over a motorcycle, receiving treatment.
Yeah.
Then we hung around, we watched Mr. Sneaky walk past us, and then we thought, you know what, let's go to the hospital, because we might overhear what happened to the person. It might confirm whether they suffered burns or whether it was a stabbing.
Precisely.
So then we got there, we saw Miss Stacy carrying the person into the surgery. And as we got there was a man wearing like a doctor's gown with a mask. And we heard her saying, "Take the stethoscope up, you're not a real doctor." To his right hand side was Mr. Sneaky. At that point we didn't suspect him, but I watched the doctor look rather confused, the fake doctor, and then he tried to get into the surgery. I then walked into the main hospital room where people receive treatment. As I got there, he was in the alleyway walking towards me, and then he turned around the moment he saw me. And then Nora, I don't know if you want to explain what you saw during that time.
Yeah, I was just in the lobby making small talk with this sneaky guy, and all of a sudden he put the newspaper I just gave him into his pocket and tried to get into the OR as well. Same thing happened to him. It was locked, so he could not make his way back in. So he just came back out.
Sometimes life just seems a little too real, you know?
But he had been there all the time, like since the moment we got there. And at first I thought he was waiting, like for a friend or something. But he was just at the lobby doing nothing, just being there.
That's why I suspected. So, when I was at the party, unsure, I did hear the explosions. But I believe this was really quickly after it. Perhaps it was a distraction even. I was indoors and all of a sudden people started a small panic. Someone had been stabbed on the upper third floor near the back corner opposite of the balcony. They were stabbed there, bleeding, and they were brought outside. EMS was treating them. But as they treated them, they seemed to have no one with them, which is odd. At that kind of party, even myself, I was my day-to-day garb, and I was accompanied by another. Now, everyone there was with someone, yet this individual had no one with him outside to check on him, a friend, partner. But there was Sneaky, the clown in the skull mask, practically standing over him as the EMS treated him. Lady was Miss Waters. And so I suspected that anyone that would be both at the party and the hospital that wanted this person dead would likely be a suspect purely by the fact that they left with no one, they left alone. No one seemed concerned. Yet, if this person was not a random attack and truly wanted dead,